How learning English transformed my life. From struggle to success. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share an incredible story about how English changed my life, shaped my future, and led me to success. If you have big dreams, whether it's becoming a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, a business leader, or anything remarkable, then English is your key. It's not just another language. It's the language of opportunity. Over 1.5 billion people speak English worldwide. It is the language of global business, international travel, and the internet. Without English, you might miss life-changing opportunities, like landing a dream job, connecting with inspiring people, or even enjoying books and movies in their original form. But here's the good news. No matter where you are right now, you can start learning today. If I could do it, so can you. My name is Isabella, and I come from a small town in Argentina. My family was neither rich nor poor. We had just enough to get by. My father worked long hours as a mechanic, and my mother was a dedicated school teacher. They always told me, "Education is your power. Never stop learning." From the time I was a little girl, I had just one dream: to become a scientist. I was fascinated by the mysteries of the universe, the way cells worked, and the possibility of discovering something new. I still remember the exact moment that changed my life forever. I was 10 years old, sitting in my bedroom, watching a science documentary. A famous scientist was explaining the secrets of space travel. His words were inspiring, his ideas mind-blowing. I wanted to understand everything he said, but there was one big problem. He was speaking English. I looked at the screen, trying to understand, but the words blurred together. I could only catch a few familiar ones. I felt frustrated. How could I ever become a scientist if I couldn't even understand a simple sentence? That night, I made a promise to myself. One day, I will understand every word. I will speak English fluently. I will follow my dreams. But as I grew older, I realized something shocking. In my country, if you wanted to work in science, English was not an option. It was a requirement. Research papers in English, university lectures in English, conferences with experts, all in English. And my English? Terrible. I studied in a public school where English classes were basic at best. I knew simple words like hello and how are you, but reading full sentences felt impossible. I remember one day, my teacher asked me to read a short paragraph aloud. My hands trembled. I looked at the words, but they didn't make sense. My voice cracked as I tried to read, and the entire class laughed. That day, I went home and cried. How could I ever achieve my dreams? If I couldn't even read a few sentences, I felt hopeless. But then something happened that changed everything. That evening, my father noticed I was upset. He sat beside me and asked, "What's wrong, Isabella?" I wiped my tears and told him everything. Papa, I want to be a scientist, but my English is terrible. Without English, I'll never make it. He looked at me and said, If English is your obstacle, then you must overcome it. Don't let language stand between you and your dreams. I was shocked. But Papa, we don't have money for fancy English schools? He smiled. We don't have much, but we will find a way. Your dreams are worth it. That night, my parents and I had a serious discussion. We searched for the best way to learn English. After weeks of research, we made a bold decision. I would move to Australia. Why Australia? Total immersion. Everyone spoke English, so I would have no choice but to practice every day. Excellent education. Some of the best English programs were in Australia. Welcoming culture. People were friendly and open to international students. More affordable. Compared to the USA or UK, studying in Australia was financially possible for my family. It was a huge sacrifice. We didn't have much savings, but my parents believed in me. Before I left, my mother held my hands and said, We are giving you everything we have. Promise me you won't give up. Tears filled my eyes. I promise, Mama. With one suitcase, a few $100s, and a heart full of determination, I boarded a plane to Australia. My first days in Australia. A shock to the system. The moment I stepped off the plane in Sydney, I felt like an outsider. The weather was different. The food was unfamiliar. And worst of all, people spoke too fast. At the airport, a worker asked me, Do you need help with your luggage? I froze. I had no idea what he had just said. My brain completely shut down. I just nodded and said, Yes. That night, in my tiny rented room, I cried. What have I done? I don't understand anything. How will I survive? The next day, I attended my first English class. The teacher welcomed us and asked each student to introduce themselves. When it was my turn, I stood up, my hands shaking. I said, My name is Isabella. I from Argentina. I wanted to say more, but my mind went blank. Some students giggled. I felt humiliated. That night, I made a decision. No matter how hard it was, no matter how many mistakes I made, I would learn English. I came up with a crazy learning strategy. The headphone trick. I walked around the city pretending to be on the phone, describing everything in English. The 3-word rule. Every day I learned 3 new words and used them in sentences. No more subtitles. I forced myself to watch English movies without reading subtitles. One day, I walked into a coffee shop and challenged myself to have a full conversation in English. My heart pounded, but I did it. It was just a small conversation, but it felt like I had conquered the world. Months passed, and something amazing happened. I started thinking in English. No more translating in my head. Words came naturally. And then, After a year of non-stop effort, I took the IELTS exam, and I passed. With my score, I got accepted into a top university for science. Today, I work as a researcher in a cutting-edge laboratory. I travel the world, attend global conferences, and collaborate with brilliant minds, all in English. If you're struggling with English, here's my advice. Speak every day, even if you're alone. Stop translating in your head. Start thinking in English. Make mistakes. They are proof that you are learning. Surround yourself with English, music, movies, books, everything. Never, ever give up. I wasn't born lucky. I created my success, and you can too. The question is, are you ready to change your life?